Greetings friends, Jared with another review from Fanboys Forever. Today we're going to be having a look at an actual Walgreens exclusive Iron Man from the Marvel Legends series. It is the Silver Centurion Iron Man. And of course, this armor is probably my favorite Iron Man armor in the entire history of the comics. It's an armor that I got really obsessed with when I was a teenager and looked up all the stories involving the armor and of course armor wars and things of that nature. And it was just something that I really got a big kick out of, particularly his battle with the Ironmonger in this armor. And of course, I was thrilled when it showed up in Iron Man 3, however briefly, a very comic accurate representation of that armor, mind you. But really happy to find him. So let's go ahead and have a look at the box art. First off, we just have what you'd expect here with the standard box. We have Iron Man, all of his accessories, and a really cool kind of old school Iron Man logo in the red and white, so I really like that. On the side, we do have some really cool new artwork, I believe it's new artwork anyway, of Iron Man and his Silver Centurion armor. And on the back, we have a really nice little product shot and a write-up here as well. So I really like that. And on the side, we have the same artwork. On the bottom, in case this helps anybody out, here is our barcode and all the wonderful copyright information. Let's go ahead and free this guy from his plastic prison. Oh, and this is, I don't know if this will end up in the video or not, but who knows. You guys want to see how respectful I am of Marvel Legends packaging, and you know, I'm just very careful as I open it. This is the way that you do it. If you want to save the box and, you know, make sure that you can display your packaging, because, you know, the packaging is so important. You know, and it's, see, look at that. Good as new. That is the Fanboys Forever way of opening your packaging. And check it out. We also get a kind of little background back here. So I actually like this. And here we have the Armored Avenger himself outside of his packaging. And let's go ahead and take a closer look. First off, I'd like to start with just the sculpt and talk about what works and maybe what could be improved. First off, we have this beautiful head sculpt. And if my choice of adjective doesn't already give it away, this really replicates the really rather unique shape that the Silver Centurion armor's head, the helmet itself, actually has in the comic. It's much more just like missile-like and a lot more just kind of flat in those comics. And I really think this does a great job of replicating that. You can see that you have all the little details. They even have the weird like head apparatus on the sides that's actually in the comic. And you have the coiled neck guard down there. So I actually think that that does a great job of replicating it. Even on the back, they have the protrusions on the side. Also, we go on down and we have the collar for the Silver Centurion armor. I don't think the collar is quite high enough to be comic accurate, or maybe the head is too far up, but I do think the head should probably be buried into this collar a little bit more. It's nothing that you couldn't fix with a Dremel or something, but I'm not sure if I care enough, but it was just something worth pointing out. We also have the shoulder pads. We know that they're more pronounced on the Silver Centurion armor, and they do have the comic book accurate ridging on it. On the back, we have his backpack, which I always liked that there was kind of a visual representation of his rocket booster on that armor. We have some little marks and things back there. We also have Iron Man's six-pack abs. Of course, it's very important that when you're sculpting a suit of armor that you add six-pack abs as well. We have the arc reactor right there in the middle. And moving on down, we have his trunks, and yes, the comic accurate lines and the little kind of almost utility belt-like pouches on the sides. Go to the iron butt, and we have the just plain silver legs, plain silver arms, just like the comics. We do have his gauntlets, which have all of the right look to them as well, and they're mostly just flat. Down here, we have his boots for the Silver Centurion armor, which are also very accurate. They do have the little bump at the top and the ridges on the feet. So overall, I think that they've done a great job capturing that design from the 80s. So the armor itself looks really nice. One thing I did forget to mention is if you look on the eyes, they're not like painted or anything. They're just white. So it's weird because they're like sculpted with eyeballs and kind of irises in there and things, but they're just white, which actually works because sometimes in the comics they will zoom in and his eyes will be like kind of whitish and they'll still have some of the detail. But it really just depends on the artist. Sometimes they'd zoom in and you'd actually see the eye and the suit. But I think, you know, this is how you're going to see it most of the time with the shadow over most of it. So I think it would have looked weird if they had actually had like, you know, fully painted eyeballs and they're peering out of the suit. I think that would have been a little strange. The colors are also very accurate. They don't go for just a straight up red. It's kind of hard to see it come across on camera, but it's almost more of a crimson you can see it then in the light, you get a little bit of reflection of almost some pink or purple hues coming through, and I actually like that. I've always thought the Silver Centurion armor wouldn't just be just a standard red. This is more of a candy apple kind of red, but with, like I said, in certain lights, you're getting sort of a little bit of a pink hue. I actually like that. It kind of varies it up a little. The silver is actually really good. There's no paint on that, I don't believe. I think it's just plastic that is cast in that kind of silver, and the camera isn't really doing it justice, but it is very shiny, and I think that that's the best compliment I can give the paint job. The biggest problem I have with the paint job is the only sample that I saw had just a little bit, and you can see it right here. You have to catch the light just right. A little bit of it's almost been roughed up on the arc reactor there. And so I'm not sure if that's, enough of a thing where if I see another one, I'll grab one and like try to replace it or what. You can also see there's a little bit of a difference. You see down here, there's one color, and up here, there's a kind of a different shade of white. I'm not really sure what happened, but certainly some kind of mishap at the factory there to where it's not exactly uniform on the arc reactor. Let's look at the articulation just real quick. The head has an okay range down and a pretty good range up, so you can get some pretty good flying poses that way. So you can kind of do that number right there. But if you go too far down, he's not going to be able to look up any more than that. I do wish there was a hinge because I think that would have made it a lot better. Can the head pull off? It doesn't really seem like it wants to pull off anyway. I mean, maybe it could, but I don't know. It's sort of wanting to come off, but it's one of those things where it doesn't feel like it's really made to come off. So just to answer anybody's question about that, probably if you heated it up, it would probably come right off. We do have a pretty good torso joint, though, because he goes that far down and that far back. It's not the best ever, but it's all right. The arms can go up about that much before they're hindered by the shoulder pads. We also can see that the shoulder pads travel with the arm, so it just kind of glides with it, so it can go all the way around. There is a cut up here. There is a double jointed elbow, but it can't do too much because the gauntlet blocks it. So that's definitely the best you can get. We don't have a cut at the glove, but we do have one down here at the wrist, and we do have a hinge, so that works. We don't have any side-to-side on the ab joint, but we do get a cut down here at the trunks, so that works really well because you'd never know the cut was there because of the design of the armor. We also do get a really nice leg joint that goes way up and pretty far out to the side as well. We do get a hip cut, and we do get a double jointed knee. There isn't anything at the top of the boot, which is strange because really there should be, because you can see the gap right there where it's connected, but I believe it's just flat out glued in because I can't get it to do anything. No, nothing anyway. I mean, mine might just be frozen or something, but you would think it would be there. Also, we get a joint down here that's just a hinge, and it's really, really mobile. You can get lots of action with that and lots of ankle pivot. So much so that you can take Iron Man to his practically widest stance. And yeah, first try, he's going to stay up. So plenty of articulation on this guy. I think he moves really well, and it seems to serve the figure well. We also get several accessories. One set of accessories actually comes packaged with the figure, and it's these cool hands. You can see that there's no hinges there. They're just kind of pegged in. So let's go ahead and get those switched out. You can see the hands just come right out. Now, these are probably the ones that I'll keep him with because I like for Iron Man to be firing those repulsor blasts anytime I pose him up. So this will probably be my go-tos. He does include some blasts that we just peg in there. These are really neat. They're just kind of translucent. And this looks really nice. I think the yellow was a good idea because it contrasts really well with the suit. You also get some other kind of little extra effects that can go on the front of these, but I think that mine are a little warped in the package. So that means that if you wanted to, you could take one of these out and you could have a smaller repulsor blast. It could just come out of his hand like this. So that looks good. But what I think they really intend for you to do is to plug this one in and then take this into the knob inside of it, and you get an extra large repulsor blast. But I really like these, and I think they're really cool. So you can see that if you peg those in, you get something that looks a lot like this. Those aren't straight either, so with a little bit of heat, I think I can kind of get those flexed back. But it's a shame that they're packaged to where they'll be warped. The biggest problem with these is that they don't really go in all the way. And unless maybe I need to heat these up and maybe push them in a little bit further, that's as much as I'm getting. And I'm just curious about something. If I take these out, they look a lot better because they hide that gap. Now, without this little rim piece, you have the same exact problem with the other ones. So, I don't know. There's a little bit of a trade-off there. And here's Iron Man with two different sizes of repulsor blasts. And just for a quick scale comparison, he does scale nicely with standard Marvel Legends and is about their same height, if not a little taller. But if you take somebody who's huge, like the new movie Venom is going to be quite a bit bigger. Moving down to a smaller scaled figure like the Lightning Collection, though, he is quite a bit shorter. So you can see the two kind of extreme heights and what are all three considered to be in 12th scale or 6-inch figure scale. I used to have a whole collection of 6-inch Iron Man figures. Kind of got out of collecting those a long time ago with the previous generation of Marvel Legends. But if Hasbro keeps up this level of consistent quality, I'd be more than happy to buy at least a baseline collection of Iron Man armors in this same scale and style. So it's something that I would like to see them continue to do. So overall, would I suggest him? Yeah, I would suggest him. He is a good figure, and for $20, he's about what you would expect in terms of accessories. I do think it's a shame that he doesn't come with an 80s Tony Stark head. If you guys remember, Tony had kind of a Jerry curl at that time in the comic books and sort of a mullet going on. And I think it would have been great if they had taken the opportunity, since it was an exclusive, to have that packed in. Honestly, I probably would have rather had that than the Repulsor Blasts, especially since Rhodey got a 90s head with that War Machine Deluxe set. So I definitely want to see that 90s Tony Stark head. If they ever do the modular armor from the early 90s, oh man, that would be great. And I would love to see a Tony Stark head included with that. That would be appropriate for the era. This figure does make me wish that I had gotten the big Build-A-Figure Obadiah Stane Ironmonger years ago, because I think that would look really good with this guy. Anyway, though, guys, that's it for me in this review. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Hope it's helped you make a decision on this figure. Happy hunting out there, because it is a Walgreens exclusive, so I hope you can find one pretty easily. Guys, God bless you and yours. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, remember to please do so. We post videos all the time, and lots of different kinds of videos, as well as Marvel Legends, so be on the lookout for those. Anyway, you guys take care, be safe out there, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Bye.